Hello, Internet and everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Frank on the Lake. I'm that Frank guy. Out there's the lake. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I'll tell you, it is a beautiful, sunny Sunday afternoon here in mid-February. It's about 51 degrees out here in the great state of Michigan. And I can tell you that that is super unusual for February for it to be this nice out. We do have some wind. It's a little windy out today, that's for sure. But there's no ice on the lake. The lake is completely without ice, and it has been for almost a week now, which I have never in 22 years of being here. I have never seen the lake in February without ice on it. That's it's shock. It's shocking to me. But hey, you know what? That's just the way things are going. Maybe global warming is catching up with us. Who knows? I don't know. But I'm thinking about putting the docks in next month. I mean, it's the lake is definitely not going to freeze again this year. That's for sure. So. Yeah, maybe next month or so I'll get the docks in the water. We'll see how that goes. That'll be the earliest I've ever done it. The earliest I've ever put the docks in the water was probably the end of April, which, water's still really damn cold. But, uh, you know, putting them in March is that's unheard of. So maybe I'll wait a little while, see how I feel after spring break. We'll see what happens. But yes, we are going to do a little bit more of the Me Journal. We are going to keep exploring this book a little bit more. Last week we had Kevin on, which was awesome. And Kevin's coming back on next week. And so we're going to do a little bit more. We found some more superstition to do for you guys. And a little bit more at random stuff. And I did kind of thumb through here and find some other things I thought was interesting. But, me solo, I think we're just going to stick with the this or that because it's just easier for me to do solo. And, kind of the at random stuff, I like getting Kevin's opinion. And especially the superstition stuff. Kevin is a pagan and he has studied Wiccan. So he's got a little bit more handle on the supernatural stuff than the kid here. So we're gonna stick with we're gonna stick with what we know for now. So why don't we just jump right into it? And let me tell you, it is sunny out today, which is terrific. The sunshine in the state of Michigan is a rare thing at best, and it's great when we have it. Especially in the summertime. Summer goes by like in a blink of an eye here. So when we get days like this, especially in February, get outside, man, and enjoy it because you do not get too many nice days, especially during the school year in the state of Michigan. So let's go. This or that from the Me Journal. Brick homes or log cabins? Ooh. Well, I'm not a three little pig. I'm not the third little pig. And I do like brick homes. But quite honestly, I have always dreamed of living in and owning a log cabin. I find those to be really, really cool. My fiance and I stayed in a log cabin up on Lake Superior last summer, and it was terrific. It was a wonderful experience. We were right on the water. It was a really cool little place and really homey, lots of charm, really quiet and secluded and a lot of fun. So yeah, if I'm gonna have to go, I'll definitely go log cabins all the way. Cinnamon or mint? Well, that's an easy one. Cinnamon. Not a big fan of mint. You know, everybody like my dad is a huge mint guy. He really likes really likes those square mints. You know, the ones they leave on your hotel pillow afterward, or they give you those mints when you leave a restaurant, those little chocolate mints with the green middle. He's a big fan of those. He also likes the what are those Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies? Man, people rave over that all the time. Give me a box of tagalongs any day of the week. I mean, I'm sorry, but the Thin Mints, I love Girl Scout cookies, and I support the Girl Scouts 100%. But the Thin Mints, not my cup of tea, man. I'm telling you. And I just, I'm not saying that I hate mint or anything like that. It's just not for me. Some people really enjoy it. I really do not. So give me a box of tagalongs, and we're good to go. So yeah, Thin Mints, not so much. So definitely cinnamon. I really enjoy cinnamon bread. I really enjoy like cinnamon Jolly Ranchers. I really enjoy those fireballs. Those are great for cinnamon. Um, I really enjoy making cinnamon muffins in the morning, like those cinnamon little biscuits. I really like that. So I am definitely a cinnamon type of guy. So yeah, let's go that route. No mint. Road trips or cruises? Ha. Think we went over this maybe a couple episodes ago about with the cruises. I think it was the cruise to the Arctic, cruise to the it was a cruise to the Arctic or cruise to the Caribbean. And I definitely went with the cruise to the Arctic because I am an outdoor cold weather type of dude. But quite honestly, this one here, when it says road trips or cruises, I probably, there's no probably about it. I definitely do road trips. I've been doing road trips all my life, and the cruises are great. And I can't say that I've ever been on one. And I do live on a lake, and I'm a big boat guy. But the cruises, just to me, it's probably a lack of control thing, and I know that's kind of bad to say. But for me, I'm kind of like, oh man, being on a plane. Okay, so I get on a plane for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, whatever. It's just a few hours out of my life that I'm not in control of the vehicle that I'm traveling in. Whereas on a cruise, I feel like if something goes wrong or if there's an emergency or something happens, um, there's somebody else calling the shots, somebody else making the decisions for me. And that would be really tough for me to do. Not saying that I'm some kind of like super control freak, but I don't know. It just seems like that's just, it just seems like there's a lot of stuff that happens on cruise ships, especially with the Norwalk virus or whatever that thing is. And they always seem to have these like ginormous problems where lots of people are getting sick, and the people who, and people are stuck there on the ship and they can't leave. And it just seems like it's a problem. And road trips, I'm all about that. I have been taking road trips all my life. My friends and I, we used to get together every the day after Thanksgiving Day and pick a destination for our road trip in the summer. And we would go out, we would pick a destination, and we would travel to it and stay there for a couple of days, and then kind of decide where we wanted to go in the United States and Canada from that point. And sometimes these trips were a minimum of 2 weeks, sometimes a month. And we would just go and get to one spot, and then from there, see where the road took us. And we did that a lot. I would say probably at least a dozen times. And what a terrific experience that was. But I'm telling you, yeah, I'm a road trip type of guy. Lemons or limes? Lemons or limes? I'm going to have to lemony think about that for a second. I'm going to go with probably lemons. Um, Now, when I used to drink, limes were definitely it. Because I did enjoy drinking tequila, I guess, especially in the summertime. Um, but I kind of gave up drinking a while ago, and just to get in a little bit healthier shape from that. And now I have to. I think I'm gonna have to go with lemons. One for one. I do like lemonade, and I really do like my fiance Claudia makes this lemon chicken that is unbelievably good. I never knew that I could enjoy something like that so much. It was so good. It's so good that what the lemon chicken she makes. So yeah, I'm gonna go with lemons on this one. Limes, you know what? They definitely have their place, but I'm gonna have to go lemons. Bowling or golfing? Oh, that's totally easy. Definitely bowling. If I had to pick between the two, I'm not a golfer. Never been a golfer. The thought of me hitting a small ball into a small hole from hundreds of yards away with a funky looking stick is just doesn't appeal to me. Now my one of my brothers and my dad are really big golfers, and they're like, "Oh, you should come out. It's so relaxing. You're outside. You're an outdoor guy, man. You'd love it. You're outside." And I've tried it a few times, and it is like probably one of the most frustrating things I've ever done in my life. And I just am not a big fan. Now, I'm not too much of a bowler either, but I can bowl and I have bowled. I couldn't tell you really what my last bowling score was. And I probably bowled on the Wii more than I bowled in actual real life. But yeah, I will to say that I'm much better with the bowling thing than I am with the golfing thing. No doubt about that. Ooh, popularity or knowledge? Definitely knowledge. I'm gonna go with knowledge. I like knowing things. I like reading a lot. And I like knowing a lot of obscure things. And definitely reading is fundamental. And if you have not experienced the joy of reading, I would certainly recommend that you start. All the best knowledge is hidden in books in plain sight. And like I said before, I'm sure that I consider the written word one of the greatest inventions of mankind. And I'm sure I've quoted Thomas Jefferson before. He said, "I could not live without books," and he's not lying. There is a wealth of information in books, and so yeah, I'm definitely a knowledge over popularity type thing. I mean, popularity, I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of being popular is. I don't, that's not something I would seek out to be. And I'm assuming they're talking about not being liked for who you are, but being popular for the sake of popularity. And that's just not something that I seek out. I mean, everybody wants to be liked and accepted for who they are. But at the same time, being popular, where people are kind of like celebrity popularity or, other types of popularity, I have no desire for that. And if it's a choice between that and knowledge, it's a no-brainer. I'm doing knowledge, no doubt. Pills or liquid medication? Oh, I am not a fan of pills, I'll tell you that. And I'm not a fan of medication, period. Now I do, I guess if I had to choose between the two, I would probably go with pills because, swallowing a pill is a lot easier for me to do than liquid medication. Seems to me like it. First of all, liquid medication, it's definitely, I don't care what kind of artificial flavor they tell you it is, it's not that flavor. And it usually tastes like crap. And yeah, it'd be so much simpler just to swallow a pill. And even if the pill tastes bad, at least you can cover that thing with peanut butter or something else to mask the taste of it. Where, I don't know if you like Pepto-Bismol. Wow, good job on that flavor. And like Robitussin, for example, or NyQuil. Holy cow, that stuff's like it's like drinking a vat of a shot of black licorice, which it isn't bad, but it isn't the greatest. But once you do that, you can drink water, you can drink whatever you want. It takes a while to get that taste out of your mouth. At least with pills, it's like one and done. You take it, boom, swallow, boom, you're you're good to go. Let's see. Gymnastics or figure skating? Ooh. I mean, I do like both, especially in the Olympics, which is literally the only time I watch gymnastics or figure skating is in the Olympics. And I do enjoy watching both of them. But, if I'm going to have to pick between the two, I would probably say figure skating. Just because I do enjoy winter sports in the Olympics much more than I enjoy summer sports. Not to say that, summer sports aren't like, I really like, I'm a big, I like swimming a lot in the summer. So I do like watching the swimming in the Olympics. But in the wintertime, there just seems to be so many more cooler events, if you will, for the Winter Olympics. So, yeah, that's why I'm going to lean more toward figure skating. No doubt about that. Convenience or challenge? I could see both. No doubt about it. And if I had to pick one or the other, I would probably pick challenge. But then I'd be lying to myself. Because I would say I would probably go with convenience, depending on what it is, though. It really does. It really depends. But I'd like to think that I would choose a challenge, but probably given the option, depending on what it is, I would probably go for more convenience than I would for a challenge. Yeah, that's a tricky one. I could go either way on that. Quite honestly, I really could. So right now, I'm gonna say challenge for sure. Yes, but not really. Let's see here. Tinted windows or non-tinted windows? Well, I've never really experienced a lot of that living in the state of Michigan. I mean, here, there's really not a reason to tint your windows. Yeah, we do have some sunny days, and it does get really nice in the summertime here, but the sun is not like, the Michigan sun will fool you every single time, especially living on the water. But it's not like super duper intense like it is in like Florida or California or in Mexico. I've never seen a need for tinted windows in my life. I mean, does it make a car look cool? Yeah, sure it does. But it's just not something like, the cars here don't, in the Motor City, they don't really come off the factory line with tinted windows. It's something you have to pay extra for. And they do have laws in the state of Michigan about how much you can tint your windows. And it just seems like, to me, spending the extra money on it, and then on the off chance I might get pulled over because I've got the wrong tint on it, just doesn't seem to be worth the risk or worth the time or worth the money. Don't get me wrong, it does look cool. And if that's the way you roll, hey man, I'm all about it. But for me personally, I'm going non-tinted windows 100%. This next one's for Kevin. Let's see, oil paintings or watercolor paintings. I can tell you right now, Kevin doesn't use either. I've seen him do watercolors and he's okay with it. But Kevin is definitely an acrylic painter. So, and he doesn't use oils. And let me see if I get this right. If I do get it wrong, Kevin, apologize. Sometimes I get things wrong. But Kevin paints all the time and he's really, really good at it. And he knows way, way more about it than I do. But, and every artist has their own little take on this kind of stuff. And, I've seen Kevin work with oils a few times, but he's definitely an acrylic painter. And watercolors, he does do watercolors every now and then, but he's not, I wouldn't say he's that excited about using watercolors. But his main complaint with oil is that it takes a really long time to dry. And it gets pretty clumpy, and it does smell a lot. One of the things he told me was that that he likes about oil is that he can get a much greater texture with that, whatever that means. I have no idea. So me personally, I have really never used oil paints. I'm not a painter. So I'm going to go with what I know, and I'm going to say finger paints because look, I work in a school, okay? So finger paints readily available, trust me. But oil paints, not so much because, they're toxic. Watercolors, not so much. So yeah, I'm going to go with what I know and say watercolors on that one. Let's see here. Fireworks or laser light show? That's an easy one. I've been to both. I'm going to have to go with fireworks though. Here on the lake, we put on a really good fireworks show. For this being a small lake, it does a really good job. And I donate every year to get the fireworks because we do put it on ourselves, and that costs money, and so we all kind of chip in for that to do it. And our lake association here is really, really cool. And every year they go around and they collect bottles and cans. They send out letters for donations. We get sponsors from people in town. And a lot of people come out, and a lot of people go out in the water and watch it, which is fantastic. If you've never been on a boat on the water to watch a fireworks show, you are missing out. And that is something you definitely should put on your bucket list at some point or another. However, I'm hearing around the campfire here that where we shoot the fireworks off, we have another eagle's nest that is up in the tree right around where we shoot the fireworks off. And it looks like the eagle has laid some eggs there. And so this happened about 3 years ago, and we had to postpone the fireworks on the 4th for about a month until the eaglets or little eagles or whatever were old enough to leave the nest. And so now don't get me wrong, it's really cool having eagles flying around here because it is sweet. But it does, delay that, and we are not going to shoot off big fireworks when there are baby eagles around. It's just not something we're down with. And the DNR usually loses their effing mind when that happens. But around here for the 4th of July, it is nuts. I mean, people all over the lake are shooting off fireworks. We do put on one good show. So yeah, I'm going to have to go fireworks. Now, laser lights are cool too. The Cranbrook Institute of Art, which is in Bloomfield Hills, they put on a really good light show in their planetarium with the laser lights. And the last one I went to, which was years ago, was to Pink Floyd The Wall, which was really super cool. So if you are up in Michigan and you are over in Birmingham, check out the Cranbrook Museum of Art, and they put on a pretty good show, let me tell you. Okay. Mailing address or P.O. box? I can't really say that I've ever had a P.O. box. So I've always had a mailing address. Now, I have had the last house I lived in, we didn't have a mailbox out front. They had a mail area where you had, where you go and you pull in and you had your own box, but it wasn't considered a P.O. box. Now here I have my own mailbox, which is terrific, but it's like the whole thing is it was like the same situation here I had at my last house too, where I have a mailing address of the city of where I live in, but I actually don't live in that city or that town. Like in my last address, I live in the township around that town. So the way the post office does it is they're like, well, we'll give you your mailing address with the township on it, but then you have to have a P.O. box, which means you have to go to the post office to get your mail every time, which kind of sucks. Or you can live in the township, but have the mailing address of the town that you're by or you're close to, and they'll send it right to your mailbox outside. which is great. So that's not, so where I live is not exactly where I live. It's called my mailing address, not my actual address, which is kind of weird, I thought. But who knows why the post office does what they do. It's a mystery to practically all of us. Their ways are mysterious, to say the least. The way they name roads and the way they label addresses where they're not actually in a row. About the only consistency seems to be that one side of the street is odd, the other side of the street is even. However, the difference between like a street, a road, a boulevard, an avenue, a court, whatever, that seems to be, there seems to be a lot of loose definitions when it comes to that, and there also seems to be a lot of different definitions when it comes to that, depending on where you are, depending on what post office you have, and other things. There doesn't seem to be a lot of consistency with that type of stuff. Now the post office, on the other hand, as far as getting mail to where it needs to go, they're pretty much second to none in that. And you know what? I've never really had any problems with the post office at all. I know some people have, and that's unfortunate. But every single time I have gone into the post office to mail something or had questions about something, or just couldn't figure something out, everyone there was super nice and super helpful. And they always wanted to make sure that you had a good experience and got your stuff out and where it was to go. So yeah, I'm going to go with mailing address. Definitely. No doubt about that. Here's a good one. Odd or even? Odd or even? What am I? Am I an odd number person or an even number person? Maybe, I don't even know if they mean that. That could go in so many different directions. I can't even begin to think of. I can't even begin to go there. I'm going to go with odd. Why not? Odd. I'm going with odd because I could be a pretty odd guy. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go with, is odd on that. Philosophy or psychology? Ooh, that's a good one. Me personally, I am a philosophy person. I really enjoy reading philosophy. Some of the philosophers I really like are Friedrich Nietzsche, Bertrand Russell, Rene Descartes. Who else? John Locke, I like a lot. Immanuel Kant, however, I read his book of Critique on Pure Logic, which I can't believe they still print it, but I mean, it was interesting. Not knocking on the guy. Yeah, definitely interesting. And I do try to read like the classics, like Aristotle. I really like Aristotle a lot, more than Socrates and Plato. I just thought he was more down to earth, and granted, Socrates was probably more humorous, I would have to say. I don't know if you can go that route with Greek philosophers, but yeah, he's probably more humorous. But there, I'm much more. I like philosophy much more than I like psychology. And psychology does have its purpose, and I have a great respect for psychologists. I really do. And we certainly need more of them. We definitely need more more mental understanding, more emotional understanding, and social understanding. And psychologists can help with that. Social workers, counselors. I give a big shout out to those people because literally their entire job description is to basically help you through a troubled time or a time in your life that you were struggling with, and that is like literally their whole job. And I think people who go into that field and embrace that type of understanding are really amazing. Like putting their stuff aside to listen to someone else and try to help them understand their feelings and emotions and help them move forward with in difficult times. And we've all experienced that. We've all had stuff that we've gone through that is really really tough. And being able to talk to somebody who's studied those types of things is really important, especially in the world we live in today, which yeah seems to be getting really crazy. So a lot, but I mean that's neither here nor there. But if I have to go with the two, I'm a philosophy guy. I go with philosophy. I really like it. Um, one of my favorite authors, and I don't know if he's a really philosopher. I guess he would be considered a political philosopher. Is Thomas Paine. I'm a big fan of Thomas Paine, the guy who wrote Common Sense. He also wrote the Algerian Letters. He wrote The Rights of Men and The Age of Reason, and he wrote The American Crisis, which is when Washington was retreating from Trenton, New Jersey. Thomas Paine was with the First Continental Army. And he wrote, These Are the Times That Try Men's Souls. If you ever get a chance to read that entire thing, I thoroughly recommend it. It's really, really good. Oh my gosh. Headset or handset? I don't really like either. I understand the headset thing and the handset. I'm gonna go with headset on that one. Yeah, that one I'm not even gonna elaborate on just because I just don't really like either of them. Butterflies or ladybugs? Definitely butterflies. Ladybugs, not. In this, especially in the spring up here on the lake, we get like a infestation of ladybugs, and they're everywhere. And I spray and spray and spray, and but man, they still come back. So I mean, I don't have anything against ladybugs. It's just that it's like I'd much rather see a whole bunch of butterflies flying around. That'd be really cool. I really like butterflies, and we get a lot of monarch butterflies up here. Up here in the spring, which is really cool. There's also some places like the Detroit Zoo. They've got a butterfly sanctuary, I guess you'd call it, and that's really cool to see. Also, if you go to, there is a place in Flint, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but they have a big butterfly arboretum or whatever they call it, and that's really cool too. So yeah, if I'm gonna have to say anything, it's definitely gonna be a butterfly. Definitely a Mariposa all the way. Towel or robe? Ooh, Claudia would say robe. My fiance Claudia, she is definitely a robe girl. No doubt about it. Me, not so much. I don't think I've owned a robe since I was a kid. and I just don't really, I really don't do robes. I'm more of a towel person. Not that I like walk around my house in a towel, which I don't. I'm an outdoorsy guy, so when I take a shower, I go in, or even when I'm just kind of getting up and stuff in my pajamas, I'll throw a sweatshirt on, not a robe. But yeah, when I get out of the shower, I towel myself up, throw it up, get dressed, come out, and I'm ready to go. So yeah, definitely towel person. Uh, Hills or plains? I'm gonna say hills. I really like being out in the hills. In the plain, I've driven across this country many, 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 many times. And it seems like if I need to go somewhere where if you live in the state of Michigan, when you go out to Wyoming or you go out to Colorado or Utah or any of the states on the Rocky Mountain side, we call that going out west. is what we call it. So where are you going? Oh, we're going out west. And so I have to, in order for me to get there, if I'm driving, I have to drive across the Plain States. And I have driven across pretty much all of them at some point or another. And my favorite Plain State, I would have to say, favorite one to drive across is Nebraska because the speed limit is so fast. And so it's like you get into Iowa and you're like, oh my God, it's 65. It's like driving through Ohio. It's horrible. And then when you hit Nebraska, it goes up to 75. You're like, yeah, Nebraska. And you could just cruise. My favorite Plain State, which I think it is considered a Plain State, is by far South Dakota. And the reason I say that is because if you go to the west southern end of South Dakota, that's where you come into the Black Hills. Hence, I like the hills. So if you do get out there, the Black Hills of South Dakota are it's something to see. The reason they call it the Black Hills is because the pine trees that grow there over the hills make the hills look black. And that's where Mount Rushmore is, and Crazy Horse, and Wind and Jewel Cave are there. Custard State Park is there, which is an incredible park. The town of Custard is really, really cool. And in the summertime, it's pretty close to a place called Sturgis, which is where the big motorcycle rally is in August. And also Wall Drug is there. If you've never been to Wall Drug, you should go and check it out. It's pretty cool. You'll see signs 300 miles away. You're only 280 miles from Wall Drug. I mean, and they're not kidding. And their big shtick there is they'll give you free ice water, and they have free ice water all over the place. And it went from being a little teeny drugstore to this massive thing. And that's definitely something to see. But yeah, I'm going to go with the hills. Like I said, the Black Hills of South Dakota, one of my favorite places to go. The Needles Highway, pretty incredible. So if you get out there, yeah, definitely go out and see the hills, but you got to drive through the plains to get it. Oh, you know what else is there? Is the Badlands, that's definitely unique to see. Let me see here. Marble or steel? I have no idea why they would compare the two of those. They're like completely different things. I mean, I'm going to go with marble. I don't know why, I just will. I'm not even going to elaborate on that one. That's just weird. Let's see here. Horse races or car races? I'm not a big fan of either of those. So, I mean, I like horses a lot. And so I'm probably going to have to go with horse races because car races, I never could get into it. So Kevin's mom, her family were big into auto racing and stuff like that. And every time we would go over to her parents' house, that's literally all they had on was just auto racing all the time. And not that it's not bad, especially when like an accident happens. That's pretty intense, but it's just, I just can't, it doesn't do anything for me. Now horse racing, I'm not a big gambler, and I've been to horse races a few times. As a matter of fact, where I used to live in Northville, there was a place called Northville Downs, and they were really big into having those, I don't even know what they call them. They had the horse races where there was the chariot on the back, not really a chariot, but the two-wheel with the jockey sitting there with the whip, and those were pretty cool. I've been to that a few times, but I'm gonna have to go between the two. I'm definitely gonna go horse racing. Not so much of a car racing type of guy. Old favorite or next best thing? Ooh, probably old favorite. I am definitely not one of those guys who runs out and buys a new cell phone every 6 months when the new one comes out. They're like, yeah, but this one's the so-and-so, and it's got 16 cameras instead of 13 cameras on it. I'm like, dude, who cares? I mean, literally, the smartphone I have right now, it's definitely not the latest, but it's not the worst either. But the smartphone I have right now, I think it's an 11 to tell you the truth, or 11 something. I I use my phone for a lot of things, but I don't even use half of the crap that this thing can do. And to get another phone, it's like, well, we've got all these other features on it. I'm like, holy cow, I don't even use 40% of this phone as it is right now. Why would I want to add more stuff on that I'm not going to use? I mean, why would I possibly do that? But some people, man, they got to have the latest and greatest. It's like a competition or something. Like, it's like, oh, I got to keep up with the Joneses. I got to do this. I'm like, no, no, no. Give me the old favorite. Anytime. It's simple. It's easy. It's reliable. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Highways or rural roads? Ooh. I see the benefit for both. But I'll go rural roads any day of the week. Highways are great, and they get you places faster, easier, and they're usually pretty well maintained. But rural roads, there's definitely something to be said about driving on a rural road and taking the road, less traveled. And it's I find it fascinating driving down rural roads. You never know what you're going to see. I mean, the highway is pretty much the same all the time, which is good. It's supposed to be that way, but rural roads, much deeper sense of adventure and a much deeper sense of, experiencing something different rather than just being on the highway and doing the same thing over and over and over again. So if I had to choose between the two, yes, definitely rural roads. Delivery or takeout? I would probably tell you delivery all the time. I used to be a big fan of delivery and get things delivered, but now not so much. I'll do takeout, and I'll go pick it up even when I get pizza. For one, when I moved up here about 5 years ago, I live relatively close to a pretty big, well, not pretty big, but a pretty big town. And they do deliver out here. However, if you do call them, it takes them like an hour and a half to get out here because it's just way out of the way from their normal route, and they don't like coming out here. And I don't like paying, and then I feel like I'm like, wow, you guys came all the way out here, and my food's like an hour, 20 minutes, behind. But I feel obligated to give the guy like $5 or like a bigger tip because, well, he did come all the way out here, and I'm probably the only person who called and needed to make a special trip all the way out here. So now I just go pick stuff up. It gets me out of the house. I get it quicker. It's usually better. It's hot. If I have any questions or they made a mistake, I'm right there. I can get it taken care of right there on the spot. As a matter of fact, I went and had Chinese takeout a couple nights ago, and I got mushu pork. And I get there, and I'm picking it up, and they forgot to give me the pancakes with it. They forgot to give me the Hassan sauce with it. I ordered steamed dumplings. They didn't give me that sauce with it. So it was a good thing that I was there to do that. So, yeah, I'm going to go with takeout. Rent or buy? That depends on what you're talking about. Me personally, I would probably say buy. There's nothing like the feeling of, especially owning your own home or owning something that's yours that you had to really work for, and something that you have to maintain, and something that that's your little slice of America, if you will. Renting, it's good in a pinch, and I know there are some people who really don't have a choice, and trying to save up money to buy a house or buy something is really, really hard, especially nowadays. But renting to me is you're just throwing money away. I mean, you're literally throwing money away. And rents right now, especially nowadays, are absurdly outrageous. There is no way no way everything went up I mean, there's just no way it went up that much. I mean, if it's gone up more than what the cost, more than 8% of what it was, you're getting ripped off. Bottom line, inflation went up about 8%, and average rent now went up 30%. So yeah, you're getting effing ripped off. Don't think you're not. You know what? I don't care. I don't care. Well, you got to look at this and you got to look at that. No. I can do math, okay? 8 is less than 30, okay? I get it. So you're full of crap if you think, if you're renting now, you're probably getting ripped off. But yeah, if you could buy something, definitely do it. And I know there are a lot of great programs out there to help you, to help you get on your way to doing that. But man, if you can buy, I thoroughly recommend it. Renting, if you have to do it, hey, you have to do it. But just do it for a short time. All right. Air conditioning or fan? Well, as you can see, the fan above me goes even when it's winter. It just circulates the air in here. Air conditioning. Now, this house was built in 1933. So this house is a little old. And actually, it's 90 years old this year. And it acts like it's 90 years old. I used to have central air in here, but the the air conditioner was super old. And it kind of went kaput about, let's say, 8 or 10 years ago. So what I did was I bought a unit that sits on the floor, and it just has a strip that you put in the window. And for this house, it's really not that big. And I got a good breeze off the lake in the summertime. So if it gets hot enough for me to turn the air on, that is more than sufficient. I do have fans in the house, and it keeps the house not like icy cold or anything like that, but definitely good enough to where I'm comfortable even when it's like 90 or 95 degrees in the summertime, which it does do in Michigan. There's no doubt about that. So fans, I do like fans too. They're cool, and the fans definitely run way, way more around here than the air conditioner. And quite honestly, I do like air conditioning, but if I'm going to have to go one or the other, I'm definitely going to have to go fans. I do like fans. Air conditioning is great and all, but fans just seem to have much more purpose and use to it. So I'm definitely going to go that route. But holy cow, look at that. Bam. That is all for this or that on this episode of Frank on the Lake. And holy crap, if I've been talking for almost an hour, you got to be kidding me. So, this is Frank on the Lake. I'm that Frank guy. There's the lake with no ice. Unbelievable in the middle of February. We will see you out there.